NelsonJoypad.com bring you another original. It's fucking great.
Hello, I'm Jack Carey from mouseandjoypad.com. I am one of the journalists. I'm here with Matthew Gravel of Gravec. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good.
Now, we're here because of one of your games. Isn't that right?
Yep, Strata.
Yes. Now, what exactly do you do for Gravec?
Well, I'm co-owner, and I'm kind of all over the place in terms of job description because we're a small studio, so I have to wear a lot of different hats. For the purpose of Strata, I did a lot of the programming, specifically a lot of the visual movement and kind of the artistic programming, I guess.
Excellent. So, who are Gravec?
Right now, we're three core people. Got myself and John, who is the other co-founder, and Nick, who's our lead engineer. And Tyler Burks, who designed this game, he actually ended up doing his own startup, but he was part of Gravec at the time of creating Strata. So I guess 4 people there.
Right, 4 people. That's tiny, isn't it, for a studio?
Yep, we've been bigger and smaller, just kind of fluctuated through the years, and I don't know, I like it small, less bureaucracy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. So, what have you developed before?
We've historically done a mix of independent and work for hire. I guess we've done some stuff with Disney and Warner Brothers, a couple iPhone games and web games, and then our biggest claim to fame is probably Skee Ball. Back in 2009, it was in the #1 slot for top paid games.
Wow.
For quite a while. So I guess we've seen a lot of ups and downs and a lot of random different projects all over the board.
Wow. So what did you develop with Disney and Warner Brothers then?
With Disney, we did a kart racing game called Disney Super Speedway. That's still in the store. And the Fishhooks puzzle game. I forget the official name. Disney Fishhooks.
No, it's not like you developed it at all.
Yeah, not at all.
So in terms of Strata then, how long was the development process?
Well, that's kind of a tricky question because it's kind of a side project, actually. We were just finishing up slash knee deep in bug fixing with the kart racer game I was talking about.
Yeah.
So seeing that as a side project, it kind of went on for, I don't know, a good 4-5 months. But if I were to condense it, I could maybe guess maybe 2 or 3 months. I don't really know.
Really, was that it?
So it's at its core really a pretty simple game, which was kind of what we were going for because we were just working on some really complicated, big client projects, and we just wanted something simple, concise, and so that's what Strata ended up being.
Yeah.
It's kind of a really pared down game that we just wanted to clear our mind with.
Yeah, of course, and it's certainly when you play it, it seems like that sort of game where it's just you empty your whole mind into this game and you just forget about everything else.
Yeah, that was kind of a strange side effect. I mean, our motivation for simplicity came from what we wanted to develop, but it ended up carrying over visually and conceptually to the user too. So that was actually a really cool side effect.
Yeah. You may have sort of half answered this already, but what was the concept behind this game?
Well, I guess we had 3 philosophies that we started with and we stuck to, and they were simplicity, elegance, and challenge. And I guess this game was kind of out of our, I don't want to say comfort zone, but it was definitely expanding into an area we haven't hit before.
Yes.
And so every time we thought of features and we thought of a ton of different ideas to go along with this game, we looked back to those 3 words and did it fit those core philosophies. And I guess I don't even remember what question you asked, but I think that was the answer, right?
What was the concept behind it?
Yeah. So just those 3 words.
Those 3 words,
concept.
yeah. So
And
it's like you almost set yourself a brief to fit the game then.
well, I guess that was one of the starting points. But the other starting point was Ty had come up with this idea kind of independently of those three philosophies, and they ended up fitting well together. So the idea had been floating around, and he had paper prototyped it and visually prototyped it quite a bit.
In terms of the user interface, it is rather unique, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's certainly
it's
the highlight of the game.
I'll tell you, the diagonal words was really hard to work with
Oh, I bet.
because it really limited the word count. You can fit far fewer words on the screen when it's diagonal like that.
Yeah. What made you decide to have it diagonally?
Well, that was I can't really answer that because that was Tyler's concept, and that was his idea. I guess he came to me with a lot of the design already fleshed out. I think he had been working on this a bit on the side, and
Right.
he had gone through a lot of different concepts. I can send you a photo of some of the different iterations. I guess the diagonal turn ended up coming up pretty early just because we thought it was neat. And another little tidbit that I think is really neat, although that people tend to play the game vertically, you can play it landscape or portrait if you're on a mobile. It works either
really?
way.
Oh, it's because I haven't tried it on any of the mobile devices. I've just played it through Steam.
Yeah, I mean you can't exactly turn your computer sideways, so. But
Yeah.
but on mobile, I mean it's natural. The orientation that you see on Steam is kind of the natural, but you can. I think it's really interesting that you can turn it and it still works because it's diagonal.
Yeah. So was that something you instantly clicked with then, the whole diagonal layout of it? Did you instantly think, yes, this is what we should be doing?
Yeah, that was one of those things when Ty showed me, it was just like, we got to do it. Nice
Yeah.
job. There wasn't really much waffling or debate on that issue.
So it's lovely when ideas come out like that.
I wish they all came that easy. Well, I guess I can't say that the idea was easy for Ty to come up with, but to stick with it, I wish they were all that easy.
Yeah, I bet. Can you tell us a bit about the creative process behind the puzzles themselves? Because obviously it's quite a unique idea. I saw on your Facebook and your Twitter, you've got these pictures of bits of paper with ribbons coming across.
So a lot of this I can't speak directly about because, like I said, it's Tyler who came up with the core concept.
Right.
But we had spent some time. He had made a paper prototype, and it actually, the core game clicked pretty quickly. There wasn't a lot of revisions to the core idea. I think a lot of the revisions were playing it on paper. Like one big one that we had to decide was whether or not you can only undo the last ribbon you laid, or you can undo any ribbon that you lay down.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of kind of the smaller details, which ended up making a huge difference.
Oh, definitely.
So
Certainly, I've been caught out so many times with one ribbon, and I keep wishing to myself, "Oh, I wish I could just get rid of that one ribbon and replace it." But no, you have to go through the whole thing again and just remove every single ribbon that you did, and then you have to try and remember which order the ribbons went in.
Yeah, I mean, if we get rid of only the last ribbon can undo, it makes it considerably easier.
Yes.
And it kind of loses a lot of its interesting strategy.
Yeah, it does. Well, Strata seem to have been well received amongst gamers and journalists like ourselves. What was your reaction?
We were really pleased because it was outside of our normal type of game, right? So we didn't really know what to think. We knew that we enjoyed it ourselves. We liked the visuals, and we were just really ecstatic to see that everybody else liked it too. So it was really rewarding. I don't think we've had a game this well received before. So it basically just encouraged us to do more of this type, I think.
Yeah. Did you think from the immediate outset this game was proposed by one of your colleagues? Did you think that it was going to become a success?
Honestly, at this point, it's such a jungle out there. I've kind of stopped having expectations, which is
Yeah.
kind of sad. We've seen some pretty big successes and some pretty big failures, and every time that I try to predict something, it doesn't seem to match that. So I knew that we had something visually unique and something that a small set of users would enjoy, but I guess it exceeded expectations as far as just the number of people that have bought it and reviewed it and enjoy it. So I guess that kind of answers your question, but kind
It
of not
does.
at the same time.
In your eyes, do you think Strata was a success?
Yeah, I do. I think one thing that was really encouraging to me was that a premium game can still be worth making in the mobile marketplace.
Yes.
I know that Steam is a totally different animal, but Strata started its launch on mobile, so that's probably the biggest measure of success I see is just the fact that it proved to me that we can do other premium games and it'll work out. There's enough people out there that are tired of the freemium model,
Yes.
and they're okay with paying for a premium game.
Oh
So
yeah,
that,
exactly. When it's something that's so unique and something that has, well, basically never been done before, it's just nice to have almost that breath of fresh air.
and I guess that's an audience you know, I didn't really know existed before. I mean,
Yeah.
I did, but the proof is in the numbers now. So that was really nice.
Well, if you could have done something differently, sort of in the creative process or the actual development of the game itself, would you have? And if so, what would it have been?
You know, I don't know if I would have done anything differently in the creative process because Strata has been an experiment. And so the goal wasn't necessarily, I mean, we always want to make money and make a living off our games, of course. But another goal here was to try some different things, see the outcome, and then have that inform future games. So in that regard, it was really successful, and I wouldn't do it differently. But some things that I've learned that I'd never do again is perhaps not releasing on so many platforms like the Nook and Chrome, for example, were just kind of a waste of time. Sorry, guys, if you're if anybody
Yeah.
listening is a fan of those platforms, um, they just ended up being a big time suck. And some things that we learned from successes on this project is before we've just having like one person run with an idea, and in this case it was Ty. He was kind of like the person calling the ultimate shots in the end. You know, it's like he'd listen to suggestions from everybody else, but at the end it was his call, and that worked out pretty well. Just because it ended up being more of a unified vision, where in the past it was a lot more democratic, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think in the end there has to be like a funnel, a person that funnels these ideas and make sure it's cohesive. So
Well, Strata seems like a game that could include multiple DLCs or additional workshop support. Do you think there would be any possibility of this in the future?
well, strangely enough, we launched with downloadable content on iOS, and pretty much the only negative reviews we received were people complaining about DLC.
Right.
And so we actually took out in-app purchases and we just raised the front price, the price at the beginning. And I don't think that we'll ever revisit the idea of in-app purchases. We just got a lot of negativity from that,
Right.
and it makes sense. And then I guess as far as workshop support, I guess the jury's still out on that one. It depends on how well sales sustain on Steam. It's certainly something that I want to do personally, motivationally. Like I want to do that, and I don't think it would be that difficult. But at the end of the day, we have other ideas and stuff, and if we think it'll make more financial sense to go after a new idea versus the workshop support, then we'll probably do that. So jury's still out, to answer your question concisely.
Yeah. How long? I suppose the thing is, you don't really know this, but have you got some idea of how long you will be supporting Strata in regards to sort of patches and further updates?
Well, I think for sure we're going to keep supporting for bug fixes. again, we're kind of waiting to see success on Steam, whether or not we want to do level updates. Because Steam is actually kind of our last platform that we're going to launch on. So most of the life of the game depends on how well it does on Steam, honestly. So I think there's definitely a chance for more levels, but I don't really have a timeline or an idea when we do that. Because we also have a couple new things in the hopper that we're working on.
What can we expect from Gravek or indeed yourself in the future?
Well, there's two projects that we're working on right now. Let's say two and a half.
2.5.
Because the half is an idea. The other two are pretty well fleshed out. We just need to do it.
Yeah.
First one is a puzzle game in the same vein as Strata. It's going to be different, considerably different, but it's still kind of the stylized puzzler genre. So we're working on that. And then we have another game that with a partner, and I can't say anything about it other than it's completely different, and it's a really strange idea that caters to a completely different audience. So, like I said, we're all over the place.
Well, that is the end of my interview. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks a lot for having me. It was great.
That was, of course, Matt from Gravek, Matt Gravel there. I would like to take this opportunity to thank him for being in the interview. You can now pick up Strata on Steam for $2.79. Believe me, it is well worth a buy. It's a great puzzle game, and if you're into that genre, you will love it. Thank you for listening.